Hi everybody, thank you for joining me on today's edition of Glenn's Retro Show. Today we're going to be talking about an accessory for the GRS spinner version 1, version 2, or the GRS USB button hole spinner. And it's a steering wheel that you can use for driving games. Let's have a look at what you get. Okay, let's see what you get when you purchase the GRS steering wheel for your GRS spinner. You of course get your instruction manual, and this manual will show you basically the different ways to install it on the version 1, version 2, or the buttonhole spinner. We also always include the tool. It's just a little hex wrench you need here to unlock your GRS spinner top, whether it be on the version 1, version 2, or the buttonhole, and install the steering wheel. We have this is a coupler that will go over the spinner itself. It helps support the steering wheel on your spinner. And also it adds a little friction. You don't want a steering wheel to spin, loose. You want to have a little bit of feel of resistance. That's what this is going to do here. We also have a similar version here for the buttonhole spinner. So this larger one here would be for your version 1 or version 2 spinner. And this one here would be for the GRS buttonhole spinner. Another thing we have here is another resistance wheel. This is optional. But when you put this inside, I'll show you that in a moment, it'll add even more resistance, make the steering wheel feel like there's some resistance on it. Not quite force feedback, but just makes it so it doesn't feel like it's super smooth spinning around. So the next thing we have here is an adapter. Now this is only needed for the version 1 and version 2 spinner. You can see the top here is already set up for the buttonhole spinner, but it's got a large opening here on the bottom. So this would be used to adapt the wheel to the version 1 or version 2 spinner. And of course we have the actual wheel itself. Now this wheel is made out of aluminum and industrial plastic. It's got a really good weight to it. And you can see on the bottom right here, we have our adapter ring. Now this will go directly on the buttonhole spinner. But when you add this adapter right here, that will now make it fit on the version 1 and version 2 spinner. So let's just see how easy this is to install on the GRS version 1 and version 2 spinner and the buttonhole spinner. Okay, so here is the items you will need. Again, this is the version 1 or version 2 GRS spinner, my original spinner, and this is the new buttonhole spinner. Now, everything you need here will be able to connect it to one of these. We're going to start first with the version 1 or version 2 spinner. So you can see on the spinner itself, we have a small screw hole here for a hex nut. So it's going to turn this, give it a turn or two, and the top will come right off. Now again, when you have this in your arcade cabinet, it's not really optional. I say you should put it on there because it does help support the wheel. But you're going to put this on first, and it clips right on. And the reason you want to do that is this is going to help support the wheel when you put it in here. But first, now since this is the version 1 or 2 spinner, it's got a larger hole than is in the steering wheel. So we need to put an adapter ring on. So we're just going to take the adapter ring right here, put it in the hole, and there are 2 hex nuts on each side. Let's give it a little turn on each one, like so, and that locks the ring right in place. Now you can take the steering wheel and you would mate it to your spinner, and you can see here there are holes here and holes on this side as well. So we're just going to tighten those nuts as well to make sure it's attached to the spinner. And that's it. You can see now we have the steering wheel here. You can see it does still spin fairly freely, but it's not like spins forever. We get some friction here. Now if that's not enough friction, there's more we can do to even make this feel like more of a steering wheel and more resistance. And that's where this other plate's going to come into play. So I think I left the plate in the box. I did. The plate's right here. So we're going to take this out of the bag like so. And it's just really like a washer, but it is very hardened, so it's got a little bit of a weird shape to it. And this is going to give us some compression. So all we need to do is, once again, we have to take the GRS spinner off of here. So I'm going to take the 2 screws out once again. Give it a little turn here and a little turn here. Take the steering wheel out, and this ring would simply sit in there like so. See, it comes right out. But when you put the wheel on here, you're going to press down and lock into place, and this will give even more resistance. Again, it is totally optional. You don't need to use it. Now you can see you got to really push in. So this would be in your arcade machine, so you can press down a lot more than I can. But you press it down really hard.
Hey, Pucky, you're right. Hey, Pucky, you're right.
Okay, so now you can see the wheel really doesn't spin at all. You can turn it, of course, easy enough, but it won't spin past that. So it's optional if you want to use it on there. It's just something you can add. Now that's pretty much it. It works the same for the version 1 or version 2 spinner. But now we want to try it on the newer buttonhole spinner. So I'm going to go back here, press down a little bit. Of course, this would be in your machine, so you'll be pressing on the wheel, not the spinner top like I'm doing here. So I'm going to unlock it on this side. And make sure my spinner doesn't fall again. It wants to keep falling. We'll unlock it on this side. And we can see we take so off. Now again, if you're going to the USB spinner, we're going to take the top off just the same way. Just got one nut we're going to take off, like so. We'll put that down. We'll take off this adapter ring, because this adapter ring is not needed. You can see it's too small for that, so we'll give it a little turn here, and a little turn here. Take that off. That goes with this guy here. Once again, we are going to use this little adapter ring, again, just to give a little bit of support for the USB spinner. And again, if you don't want the additional pressure, you would just press it down like so and lock it into place on both sides. And you now have the USB spinner. You can see there is a little resistance, but you can still spin it fairly freely if you wanted to do that in your games. You can see how that looks with the USB spinner. I guess it's a Hall effect spinner. It is basically reading magnetic fields. Same like the version 2, this is a Hall effect spinner, no gears of any kind. And again, if you wanted to make this have a little more resistance, we do the same thing. We're going to untwist this once on each side. We can pull that out and be the same thing. We'll put that down, put in our little adapter ring, and we're going to lock this in place the same way. Again, you'd be pressing down normally this way in your arcade, but since I'm not in an arcade right now, I'm going to press it down this way here, just to get it locked in place. Got to do it on both sides, of course. Quick and simple and easy. And you can see there's less spinning, but you can still spin it free enough on the machine. So now that we see how easy it is to put the steering wheel on your USB spinner, you can go back between fours. You can put these back on here, or this back on here, depending on what you want to do. But let's try it and play some games. Okay, so I have set up right here, right now. This is Wagner's Tech Talk OpenCade. I made some changes to it recently for this video. And basically, we can see I have my standard version 2 spinner here. You could also use the USB spinner if you wanted. My trackball, joystick, and button set up this over on this side over here. Now, on the video where it's gonna say the one all the way on the left here is actually even mirrored. So sorry, just the way the video is being captured. But anyway, so when you're playing a game like Breakout here, we'll start the game. Having a spinner, well, still can miss it, but having a spinner here is what you really want to use. Gotta start up again. Here we go. You don't want a joystick, and you don't want a big wheel on here, but it's nice to have an actual spinner. Here we go. When you talk and try and play, you don't do as good. But you get the idea. So you have your spinner here, which is what you want to use for this type of game. But if you're playing something else, we'll go into some driving games where you would rather not have this. Now, the steering wheel has a couple of different ways to connect it. So on a GRS version 2 spinner, you would just take your little wrench here, put it in, give it a couple twists, and you can pop that off. And we have this little bracket here, which just helps with keeping the steering wheel engaged properly to the spinner. And then we have our steering wheel right here. Now we have different adapters. I'll throw a picture up in a second. for the version 2 spinner or the USB spinner, but we have different options here, so we're going to just put that on. You can see this just really gives you extra support when you're putting it in here, and it keeps the wheel from spinning too smooth. I mean, a steering wheel shouldn't spin super smooth, so you want a little friction with it. Now all you need to do is just find the 2 spots on here to lock it in place. If I get past it, there we go. So let's put it in here, give it a couple of twists. Now there's one on each side, but for this demonstration, I'm just going to do it on the one side here. There's one here, and then normally you would do it on the other side. But you can see the paddle on here is working as I turn the wheel. So what we'll do is we're going to get out of here, and let's get a driving game. So I'll always start really old school. This is Night Driver. And basically you can use your steering wheel to steer your car. Now on the arcade machine, there would have been a car in the center of the screen to kind of show you where it is. The Atari 2600 and the Bally Astrocade had that in their versions. But here we'll kind of have to guess where our car is. But the steering wheel will control the car, and we'll have our gas and our different gears, first, second, third, fourth gear that was on the arcade game. So we'll put in a coin, and let's start it up. You can see we're driving the car, trying my different gears. Oh! Got to get back to first gear, turn the car back over here. Now, of course, I'm doing this sitting away from a video camera, so I'm not actually in the best position. But you can see having a real steering wheel here is just a little more realistic when you're playing the game. Oh, did a little bit better there. This is why AI will do better than us when it comes to driving cars. And that's it as far as Night Driver goes. But we're going to try a different game here, get a little more modern. So let's see what else we have here. Now, another game I really enjoyed back in the day was Sega's Turbo. And I haven't played this in a really long time. But what's good about this one is here, I'm going to have my gas here. But I'm going to use the actual joystick here as my gear shifter. And of course our steering wheel. So let's put a good old coin in and try it out. Now this game, I don't know if it actually has working sound. This actually did not have a CPU for the gameplay. It was actually all discrete logic chips. So I don't think in the version of MAME I'm running right now that that part's working. But you can still see, now it's just better having a steering wheel than even a spinner on the game. Oh, sneaks up from behind me. Gotta get my gear going. Oh! Okay, let's try one more classic from Atari and Namco. Okay, we have Pole Position, which was released in the US by Atari, but of course it was actually from Namco. And again, we'll have our our gas pedal right here, and our gear shifter will be with the joystick and steering the car with our steering wheel. Again, I'm off camera on the side, so it's a little weird for me to play it, but I will do the best that I can.
Prepare to qualify.
Ooh, taken out. Shift my gear to low. Did I make it? I got 7th place. Go back to my low gear. Oh, I still got taken out by a sign. Oh, no. Didn't do good that time, but you get the basic idea. So the steering wheel here will mount to the GRS version 1, GRS version 2, the GRS Button Hole spinner, all the different parts to connect it to the spinners is included. And the wheel is aluminum with the plastic on the outside. It's a very, very, very solid wheel. And again, if you just want to use your spinner, of course, you can still do it with just a regular spinner top. But certain games, you want to have that extra feel in here. And the steering wheel here will add that little extra if that's what you're looking forward to. Okay, another game we're going to try here is Atari's Hard Driving. Now, this is a game I never actually played in the arcade. I actually played it on the Atari Lynx, which didn't have a steering wheel. But here we have the GRS steering wheel right here. We'll give it a try. This is really more like a driving simulator, what I've been told. But let's give it a try. I'll put in a coin, and we'll see what we can do here. We're going to use the automatic, no clutch. I gotta wait for it to pick it. 1. Okay, we got to start our car, which we'll use right here with my ignition. Now we're all over the place already. Here we go. So that's it in a nutshell. So if you're looking for a driving wheel for your GRS spinner or buttonhole spinner, this will be available soon. And it's made once again out of metal, aluminum, high quality plastic. It's a very solid wheel. And that's really it. Not too much more to say about it. So I want to thank you all for watching once again. And remember, no matter what you do or how you do it, remember to game on.
At the Tiny Arcade fan page. Remember, don't admire people too much. They'll disappoint you.
Sit, Blue Blue, sit. Good dog. Remember, game on.